All right. Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Looks like it. I got all kinds of windows popping up everywhere. It's like, I guess they're doing an update to Restream, I guess. I don't know. I got chat windows all over the place now. I got Restream channels all over the place. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's getting crazy. Oh, God. What is my kid saying? Okay. Nothing. All right. So. We had Core PCE come in, and I talked yesterday about how I felt like it was just going to be a miss. I just felt like something about it, and I was right. I came in at point three. Because of that, obviously, again, we're seeing basically dollar weakness across the board. Really, as we should. I mean, again, it was expected to be higher. This one coming in lower, and it's mentioned that hey, listen, was expecting this based off of what we saw out of Target, Walmart. Funny enough, I said that gold would be the way to trade this one. So I pretty much drew that right to the exact. Like I haven't touched this chart, but I saw this about getting down to the 1800 right in time for news, and then bam, the explosion forward. So pretty much nailed that one dead on. If you guys were watching yesterday, if you don't believe me, go back and look at it yesterday. I don't think we could have been any more dead on about where this was, coming in at 8:30. And yeah, nice burst. I mean, it was a $20 pop in price on that one. But again, that's because PCE being where it is now. Um, what does this really tell us? I don't think much. My feeling on this one yesterday was that I just felt like it was going to be a disappointment. And the reason why was because, again, with Target, Walmart slashing prices to get rid of inventory, it's not necessarily something that was Fed driven, but it was driven by, again, these large retailers that took on way too much inventory last year because it was like, oh, the supply chain's going to get all screwed up again with China. And they brought all this inventory on and then they were stuck with it. And again, it becomes a problem for them. So they were starting to discount it already. So my opinion is that's why this is not necessarily the point four. It came in as the point three. It didn't necessarily change. It didn't go back in the other direction. It's not negative. So again, still continuing to rise. But again, sometimes people over exaggerate a little bit and they go a little bit too far. And that's kind of what I felt today. And that's exactly how it came in. So, and again, seeing the price movement that it did is it's kind of funny. So, literally drew that one yesterday, and then today it's like, bam, there's your final result. So, anyway, besides that, we do have the OPEC meetings today. OPEC plus they've ratified a plan. Let's see. Um, so they've ratified a planned August oil production increase of this. Um, Russia's deputy PM, right? Um, it's funny that it's all coming from Russia. Production increase are needed to meet growing oil demand. Embargo on Russian oil, key factor to global oil. Oil production in Russia in June nearly back to February level. Crude only production at 9.8 million. So funny how this is all coming back. That it's back to early levels, right? OPEC worried about shrinking spare oil production capacity. Yep, that makes sense. Let's see. Strategic stability, non-proliferation. That was an OPEC stuff. So yeah, so they're continuing to move, oil in the right direction, which makes sense. I mean, the demand is there; it's been justified. It's interesting hearing them mention, again that Russia is back to, there's an embargo, but we're back to pumping the same levels we were back in, the beginning of the year. So back to February levels. So the let's kill Russia. We don't need their oil is obviously not doing much, and then obviously Saudi Arabia makes sense why they're saying what they're saying. So no surprises there. Um, let's see, what's the Fed got here? The Fed has been clear, but the economy still isn't ready for big rate hikes. Yeah, I agree with that. Again, obviously housing is going to be in there. Um, Shock, we saw that one. Let's see what else we got here. That's kind of it. Biden come out with another 800 million additional weapons. I love how we're just, we got so many problems in the United States. Let's just keep sending millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to go over there. Biden says he suggested a while ago to put a cap on Russian oil prices. Great. Lovely. Expect to pay higher prices as long as it takes. Yep, that's great for rich people, but no, not so much. Biden has told Gulf states they should be increasing oil production. That's great. I love There we go. Let's help big oil even more. I love this. He wants them to increase production, but he wants them to make less money on it. That which is hysterical. Hey, you got to make less money. It's like, listen, they make a certain amount of money based off of what the price of the oil is. Like, you don't tell people, hey, make less money right now, right? He'll not be. He'll not be making an individual request to Saudi Arabia to produce production. The Gulf states are meeting. That's great, but nobody's investing in the Gulf states. So I don't know what he's doing. I'm totally confused. I love it. Hey, produce more, but hey, don't take any profit from it. Increase your production, but make zero money from it because you making money as a publicly traded company is wrong. You should not make any money. Um, and then meanwhile, we're still throwing $800 million overseas. So yeah. Anyway, that's what we got for today. So for tomorrow morning, obviously IMS manufacturing is a big one. Expected to be lower again. We'll see where this comes in. We're starting to get really, really close to that. Hey, Brian. Yeah, take fewer profits going for. I know, right? Hey, it's un-American, guys. You should not be taking profits. It's like, is this not? Do we not believe in capitalism here? You're telling a public company that you should make less profits because you screwed up and the Fed didn't think that inflation would be, thought that it would be transitory. But you want a company to take less profits, right? And you want them to increase their infrastructure, but you've been trying to kill them for 20 years. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, makes perfect sense to me, right? I mean, hey, listen, produce more, make no money off of it. You know, invest in infrastructure, but again, don't make any more money. You're not allowed to make any money off of it, guys. That would be wrong, right? So yeah, I love that one. You guys should not be profiting from inflation. Why? You're the one that screwed up. They're a publicly traded company. They have an obligation to shareholders to make them money. That's what a publicly traded company is. I mean, I guess we could turn it all private and we can turn into the old Russia, if that's what we really want. But anyway, ISM is a big one. Again, as we get closer and closer to that 50 number, that shows a contraction. We already know we're kind of in a contraction, but that's kind of the official stance on it. So again, is a big number for Friday, and then again, Saturday nothing, Sunday nothing. And Monday, we start getting some CPI for everybody else. Again, obviously, July 4th, nothing going on that day. So again, it is kind of going into that July week or this July 4th holiday weekend. I would expect there to be lower volume, meaning that we could have some crazier moves out there. But that's what you hit going into obviously holiday fun weekends, right? So let's look at some charts in here. I'm probably getting Kip in 10 minutes. I think Melissa has a 10 to 10:30 today. Buddy is still quite unhappy. His fever broke, but man, he has such a case of the man flu right now. It's insane. Um, the man flu is real with this one. Let me tell you. Melissa's like, I love my son, but my God, he's so much harder than the girl. Yeah. But yes, so she's got her first experience with the man flu. All right. Um, Obviously, VIX up a little bit, kind of pulling back now that that PCE data is out there, as you would expect, coming back down. It did take quite a big hike, and again, because of it being spiking so high, you're seeing all the indices to the downside. And I mentioned this yesterday that even indices wise, you're seeing things kind of push lower, and PCE, it's interesting in the fact that yes, we kind of expect it to be lower. It means that does this really mean that they're not going to raise interest rates at the same rate? No, it just means that maybe our economy is already kind of more fragile than we actually thought it was, but yet we still have to keep raising interest rates. It's kind of the worst case scenario, and that's why we're seeing all this kind of downward pressure kick in early, and everything's pretty solidly in the red. I would say, I mean, based off the numbers today, I mean, showing us that we're that fragile, I could see continued movement today, and you know, could it set us up for more of like a feel good Friday ish thing? Yeah, I would say probably, right? That end of the week, going into a holiday weekend tends to be a bit, a little bit more positive. And, if we have a big down day today, that kind of sets us up for kind of the, end of the trading week rally, right? I don't want to say feel good Friday, but I'm going to say end of the trading week rally, right? And I think that's kind of what it's setting itself up for today. So, you know, um, natural gas starting to creep. Gold, I think, is absolutely hysterical. We'll start with the Aussie dollar. So here's the Aussie dollar. We talked about it yesterday. I mentioned that we had a zone down there, and I didn't necessarily love that zone in there. That we talked about that one knockout that was sitting right here that wasn't going to survive. And it did. It actually did. It did survive. It made it by that one pip. But I said that I really liked the 68.43. As you can see down here, late last night around what about 10 o'clock, we did have a push back into the zone, and it did qualify. So, it got as low as and got within what 10 pips of actually coming through. And you can see that 1 to 3 is officially done, and it came down for news last night and kind of burst out the top. And we also talked about a binary at 7 p.m., which would have been right in this range. It would have missed it a little bit for news. But overall, we were looking at that call spread, and you can see that we are now out. Now we've pushed back up again in this position. We're back up to the 6110 area, or the 6910 area. It is a level of basing here. We did talk about it. We did talk about it, how originally it was a 23.6. If we drag it down just a little bit, you can see it's still, it really doesn't change much. It moves it just slightly with the 23.6. But you can see exactly where we pulled back into. So, question is now, are we going to get a reversal off of this? So, I would say it's an interesting scenario. It is pushing up. It is like almost at that 10 o'clock range. The PCE data absolutely dollar weak. But is it going to keep them from raising interest rates? Is it really going to change the trajectory too much? And the answer is probably not so much. I mean, I would say overall they're not going to slow down. The inflation is way too high. Seeing a a PCE of just a little bit less than forecast. Remember, forecast is not the official number. Forecast is the kind of like the industry consensus, right? I don't think it changes the trajectory at all. So I would say I think the pop of this one is out. It's done at this point. I think we do look for some type of reversal. I'd like to see a little bit basing, and then once everybody kind of is washed over with that news, I think we see a little bit kind of a return back into that dollar strength of things. But again, the trade from yesterday is officially out. Again, it was a great little knockout in there. You're right back up to where we're looking to go to. So if you guys were in that one, again, if you got in, when we talked about it yesterday, it was kind of a boring trade. He may have taken a little bit of a heat, but we never got stopped out. And again, that knockout was a kind of the perfect call onto the top side. So if you're in, time to get out. I would be looking for somewhat of a reversal today, but it's not like the news is 7:30 is really what made this kind of start running. It just shows you that the data was already out there and people knew what it was. Aussie yen. So ASEAN, we talked about having a kind of support level below. We talked about a little bit of a pullback, and it did. It pulled back late last night and then continued to drop lower. We mentioned it yesterday, that 9:30 candle, and it did. It just kind of bounced between the two, came up and grabbed it again, and went lower. We didn't get up to the 94.70. Again, I think that still is valid level for short. Um, right now, with kind of smashing through the 61.8 level, we hit here, we hit here, we hit here again. The next time it breaks, I think that's where we start to look for an additional short. So if you are looking for areas to be able to take this short, particularly in kind of an overnight situation, nope, not text. Not looking to do text. I'm looking to do price label. I'm thinking at 93.43 is probably the area where you want to go short from. But again, we had this level marked off yesterday. It did kind of pop into it last night and then kind of give us a parabolic move right back down into the lower level, into the orange level that we were talking about. So um, right now, not much else. It's just going to kind of stabilize sideways. The yen's going to kind of jerk this one around a little bit. Um, again, I think right now, I still think we look for this, this position up top. I think 94.70, we're going to leave the alert on there. And then again, if we break through the 93.43, I think this one starts to kind of push back down and probably test this 93 level. Again, this one has been pushed very, very deep. There's not much to hold it back. And again, when we push halfway down, we'll start getting it to suck into that 93 level, that kind of magnetism attraction there. All right. Euro pound. So Euro pound gave us the hiccup. It went down and went to where we thought it was going to go to. 2:30 this morning, it did have a little bit of volatility back and forth. So we were looking for kind of a clean break, and we didn't get it here, right? It just shot down and shot back up again. If you were looking for kind of a continuation play, though, you could have absolutely blocked this one off and say, hey, listen, we're looking for Harry Potter. We got all this basing sitting right here, right? We've now left that area as it pulled down. You could have got into it on the pop here and taken the short, either one of those two. So again, we were looking for a price to kind of break through 86.02, pushing down to 85.58. And again, target wise, it literally came down, and I'm just extending this across. This is we kind of smashed into the target right now. So, I would say none of the news out there has been necessarily earth shattering for the euro, but we are talking about kind of having a retracement back again. We were looking at a basing level here. We knew we had smashed around it a few times. We were looking for the push through, and now it's officially all the way down, and we're running into the opposing zone of buyers. So kind of at more of a reversal point, but looking at everything in here, I wouldn't say that you know, none of the I would say that none of the big things over here are really. I mean, Russia talking about opening a dialogue, sure. Um, besides that, I mean, there's the OPEC plus. There's this one, right? ECB divides eurozone countries and donors, recipients, neutrals for reinvestment of pandemic. This is kind of what they talked about before. And by the way, the recipients of ECB purchases include, right? We've heard this usual suspects, right? Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Spain. You remember this? The pigs, right? Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Spain. And then donors of proceeds include Germany, France, and the Netherlands. So, yeah, you've heard the pigs before in the past, and again, this is kind of the I don't want to say the soft part or the underbelly, but it's kind of the weakness of the euro is those smaller countries. Okay, particularly when it comes to you know the economy. So I would say none of the big headlines out there really are affecting this much. It's just seeing a retracement, and again, having that European weakness and that pound strength coming back in. Not the pound is overly strong, but again, we're seeing a retracement, kind of just that ebb and flow from where it was before. So hopefully, you guys were able to grab this one. Euro yen, again, we also talked about this one. We talked about not really getting the entry here. Well, this is absolutely what we're talking about. Kind of the slow rally back up again. We hit it, and again, bam, we were out here. So this was another easy grab in the overnight, and this one kicked in around midnight, and it's about 77 pips. If you were in this one actually took a 145 pip kind of drop to the downside, but nice little kind of position in here. And again, not I'd say a little bit more risky, about 25 pips on that one, but nice huge move down. We're still going for the 141.02 as this one continues to progress lower. But again, remember, failed entry in this one. It was too quick, and we said we were looking for more of a slow kind of pullback. And again, here's your base. There's your hit. If you missed it, there's your hit again. And then obviously the continued push to the downside. So again, another trade that was set up from yesterday is now finished. Again, that was a pretty easy one. And we just talked about the euro reversing because it kind of got a couple days of kind of big pops. But now it is over and done with, right? Not much you can do with it right now. I would look for this as a base level, but again, we are going into a holiday weekend. It will be lower volume tomorrow. Only the United States is really closed, right? The UK does not celebrate July 4th. That is not one of their favorite holidays. So there will be people trading out there. Europe will be open, but obviously the proxy play through the yen will obviously be less. So technically, the rest of the world is open, but obviously U.S. traders are off. So I would say that this is probably a decent level to bounce off of. The yen won't be really getting too much attention, but the European session, if we can kind of push down, we can potentially get a rally back off of this level. So euro dollar. So there's the euro dollar play. Again, we talked about this coming down. If you missed it here, let's see, where were we yesterday? Yesterday we were sitting right here. We talked about a base. The base actually came in a little bit lower, right? We talked about finding that base. It broke through, came in, and then kind of pulled back up again, and then that's where this Harry Potter kind of kicked in, and it also did it at the European Open. What I would have done on this one, and I didn't trade this one, I was asleep. Once it was in here, I just let it kind of ride. What you would have done on this is looking for that base. You could have said, okay, well, here's the base. Can we get a pullback to that? Once we pulled back up again, I would have said, hey, listen, this is probably your more near-term base as we touched it here and here. We were looking for a short, but as it pulled down, we're like, where's the pullback coming from? That's a pretty easy drop, 2 candle base, and then another push back down again. Pretty easy target to be able to get an entry on. And as you can see, the entry was here. And again, you can adjust it up. You guys can see that it blew the 1 to 3 out of the water to the downside. So, the same trade said it was there, even if you just took it here. Again, you were well past on our way to 103.64. So, another one of the trade setups, we were looking for a break, a pullback, with more in touch base, and we got it there. And it's just a continuation to the downside. So, nothing necessarily earth shattering in this one as it pushes all the way down. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Let's see. Um, So pound yen. Pound yen in 24 hours, it's minus 51, but you're seeing a bit of a retracement coming back again. And again, this is more of a yen play than anything else. It did finally break out, but I wouldn't say like in stellar format. Again, we talked about the brace. It's still kind of, found the buyers in here. It started to push a little bit lower. So we're kind of at the stage now we're starting to pick up some steam to the downside, right? And again, this is more the yen than the pound, but now the pound is starting to come back again. So, you know, you could say, is this still consolidating? I'd say we're kind of we're kind of doing this now, right? But where it's running into, if you look to the left, where these kind of pushes are, there's buyers here, buyers here, buyers here. There's a big 50% sitting right here as well, where we've gotten some front running off of it. So yes, I would say it's in a downward channel, but I do think a little bit more. We start to see a little bit more strength back again, and I think we kind of suck right back into that kind of the horizontal movement on this one. 165 is a pretty big number, and again, that's what we literally just bounced off of. If you look to the left on this one, again, you can see that we have buyers at 165.20, 164.80, and then right down here again at 164.60. So it's an area where there's got a lot of people to chunk through. Um, the news just provided a little bit of a boom, not really much in there for this morning. But right now, I think we kind of come back up and stabilize, and kind of the same thing with the euro yen. I think tomorrow will be more of a play on this one, as well as I think Monday morning for the European session. I think the pound yen actually stands a good chance from Sunday night till Monday at noon. During that kind of overnight European session, I think this has some ability there to kind of put some movement in. So a little bit early to figure out where it is, but right now, not a lot of not a lot of trade setups on this one. Pound dollar. Again, we talked about this one come all the way down. It did what it was supposed to do. We were looking for a pop, and I mentioned yesterday why the pop was there. The point three would be considered weak. It's not as strong as it was, and that's exactly what happened. But magically enough, it turned at 7:30 this morning is when it started the turn, and then again, the 8:30 news right here, it punched it higher. So again, we are looking for this one to go long. We are looking for weakness to come in. That's exactly what we got. Is that dollar weakness based off of a point 0.3 versus a point 0.4? Again, not surprised. I just had a feeling yesterday. I don't have a hidden crystal ball. I have not sold my soul to the devil. Um, that was just my feeling yesterday. That with everything we've seen, that I felt like it was going to be a little bit of an over exaggeration with the point 0.4, and the point 0.3 is exactly what we got. Okay, which again, dollar weakness. Hello, buddy, buddy. All right, so we have Kip. We'll see how this is going to go here. As I said, Kip has a really bad case of the man flu right now, so we will see. Here, you want this? You can have this. Play with this. Want to play with this? All right. Um, as this goes up, though, I think this 122.07 is an important level. As you can see, it was a level that we used in the past. This was just a base. Let's pull some fibs on here. We'll go from most recent high to low. You can see that fib level as well, the one we had marked here, the supply zone, comes up to be a 50% retracement too. So right now, with this driving on that weak data, it does need to go a little bit further. It's got about another 30 pips to go. I think it's kind of set up for a decent reversal. And again, we can shrink it just a little bit in there, right? Pull it back up. 111.11, I guess, is kind of what we're looking for. And it would be somewhere along these lines right here. right along those lines. Okay. Um, sorry, I need some more coffee. Yeah, so that's kind of a setup. But again, we were looking for the pop. We got the pop. A couple different ways you guys could have played that one. Dollar CAD. So dollar CAD. Interestingly enough, this one also started to move at 7:30 today, and some of this had to do with oil as well. But again, we're seeing dollar weakness. I think it was tempered a little bit, but we really just kind of stayed sideways. And again, what did it do? It rallied up before the news just in time for it to kind of roll back down again. So we didn't get a huge move off of this one. Unfortunately, this is a CAD strength, but it's also CAD weakness with oil being down 2% right now. Um, Not necessarily the best trade setup today. Not as much movement, not as easy as some of the other ones out there. But we're literally back in that same range, right around the one that 128.85. I wouldn't quite say that this one is majorly trending. Literally, the news drove it up, and the news drove it right back down, and we're in that same type of 23.6 level. Well, buddy, what's up, buddy, buddy? Um, dollar Swiss. So, funny enough, dollar Swiss at 3 o'clock this morning, 4 o'clock took off, and then just in time for it to pull all the way back down again. Um, Interesting how this worked out, right? Huge push up, and then again, it moved in dollar weakness like we had assumed that it would. And you can see right here, the 830 is where it kind of kicked back up again and then pushed right back down. So I think for dollar Swiss, we still wait for this to come back down. I think 95 is going to be the big trigger point on this one. You can see that it didn't hit it on the top side. Oh, buddy, buddy, we're not going to touch my phone. No, we're not going to do phone touching. What is that? What? Oh, that would be the reason why I couldn't get it to work earlier. ShareVision had scheduled maintenance. all my stuff up today. All right. Oh no, we're not going to hit the buttons. All right. So with this one, again, I think we wait to 95. That's going to be a psychological level. There is a piece down there. I think that kind of makes the most sense for us right now, just to kind of wait till we can get lower. Right here, have this one. Here. I'm not going to blow your nose. I promise. You can blow your nose. How about that? I'm going to eat the tissue. All right. So dollar yen. So yesterday we drew this. We talked about the 23.6. As you can see, it was pushed pretty deep. We pulled back down, and this is kind of what we are looking for, right? We're looking for the push down and then the kind of the rise back up again in more than one candle, and it did it. It gave it to us in 5. It also started to take off at 7:30 this morning. The 8:30 news obviously came in here, but it was already moving. Again, the same position from yesterday. I'm almost positive this one is out as well. 1, 2, 3 is right there. So again, same news trade. It just went a little bit early. We were looking at that 23 as being kind of the target, but because it pushed in so deep and it pushed in. Yesterday we were sitting right here, right, right here. Again, we were talking about that break, and we got it here when exactly. Ow! What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. Are you happy or not happy? You're gonna grab the microphone, aren't you? Here. There. No, don't eat that. So dollar yen is out. Dollar yen, I would say we probably have the ability for some reversals here. There is a zone sitting right here of buyers. It has been front run. We have kind of hit it already. And again, it is at a 50% retracement level, being that we're close to 1030. If we can kind of push down and maintain and stabilize here, I think with the right little bounce, if we can get like a little bit of a hiccup and a pause, and then a pull back again, just like I talked about, how I can see the dollar kind of re-strengthening a little bit today, that would give us the pop back up again. And you know, the risk on it is rather low. It is 11 pips, 12 pips worth of risk. So not an absolutely huge area, but again, from seeing that basing level, it was a pretty easy target to be able to take that one short as well. So hopefully you guys were able to grab that. That was another one that was drawn from yesterday. Interestingly enough, Bitcoin. Okay, so the cryptos, they're kind of taking it a little rough today. Again, we are down at that 18. We're below 19,000 in Bitcoin, but look at Ethereum. Ethereum is actually flirting with $1,000, right? Again, large psychological level, down 8% today. And again, you may say, well, wait a second, PCE, wouldn't this have gone up? Not really. I mean, as I said, the PCE is not really going to change too much. Here, can I cut your nails at the same exact time, buddy? Yeah, so you don't stab me in the eyeball again. Yeah, I can do one of Kip's nails at a time. There we go. Woohoo, success. So yeah, Ethereum breaking through 1,000 is pretty interesting. And again, Dogecoin getting close to that magical 6 number. This is one of those ones that I think is pretty interesting. Where is it? I just wanted to put this right at 6. Right there. Look at that. Look how close we are to hitting 6 in this one. Like I said, technically this one should go all the way down to 0, but it's going to be very interesting to see where these things find bottoms at. And again, TLT, baby. Look at TLT. Bond prices going up again, starting to rally. Even in a rising interest rate environment, it's kind of like, holy crap, right? Market's going to start tanking. We're going to a recession, and we're seeing strength coming back in. I mean, we were all the way down to 107.90, and now we're all the way back up to 115. Like, TLT is turning into like oil. It's like a similar chart. So bonds, again, on the move. Now, commodities, they're dropping. We talked yesterday about having a level that we got a clean break of this one. We were looking for it to come all the way back down to 107. We did get a reversal that came in. It didn't get all the way up to the 116. It did find a top yesterday around 9:30. Buddy, I need that. Right? It did find the top up there in that fib target. And as you can see, it came down and it held on the 23.6. Why are you drooling all over me? And then again, smashed into it, smashed into it, smashed into it. There's your 3 hits. Came in there and based, pulled down, pulled back up, and then it's continued to push lower. So right now, I would say that there's really not a lot there holding or stabilizing this to at least where the 61.8 is. We talked about 106.82 as being the profit target. We got another 40 cents to go before we hit that target. But I think overall, I think targets on this one come down probably into this level right here at 105.62. Now, this is technically not a bad thing. Obviously, OPEC Plus saying, yep, we're going to produce more oil, to meet demand. They always do it right when we're going into a recession. So I think this is actually pretty positive. I think this is a good idea for this to continue to push lower. Um, it makes sense. Again, they're increasing supply. Russia's producing at a high level. You know, Biden is over here trying to be like, I told you guys to do the cap. It's like, he doesn't remember what he did last week, right? But he's going to tell everybody that, remember when I said we should cap Russian oil? It's like, I don't remember that. Um, I don't remember you ever saying that we should put a cap on, a price cap on Russian oil. But again, that is also not free market and anti-capitalism. So I don't know. I guess he's fully admitting now that he does not believe in capitalism. I don't know. It's the only way you can take it. But I think 105.62 is our target. If we can potentially get down to 102.78, again, I think that's you know, I think that's a level that we look for a potential bounce off of. But with the U.S. market, for the holiday weekend being closed, I think again, I think some of the pressure right now will be off of this one until we hear more about what kind of recession looks like and how much money people are spending over holiday weekends and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Natural gas. Now, natural gas is one of the only green things out there today, and you can see that it is popping up from that 8:30, that 8 o'clock window. And again, talking about capping Russia and again seeing um, European money being spread all over the place. Not surprised that it has a pop. I mean, it kind of did it a little bit lower. I would have liked for it to be here. It ended up breaking through the bottom side of it. And again, natural gas can be a little bit weird. I mean, it just like I said, it's not doesn't have the largest volume, so it's a little bit more easily manipulated. Um, right now, though, in this, if you take this last push from high to low, you can see that the 50 was kind of where we were at, but we are pushing back up and trying to rally through it. Um, again, natural gas, I think we're kind of in a slow period right now. I know it's up 0.8%, but until we start talking about winter gas supplies and what that's going to look like, it's not one of those. Buddy, what did you do? Where is it? All right, you were trying to eat it. Where is it now? Did you swallow it? He was eating the foam of the microphone. Now I don't know where it is. Father of the year, right here. What are you eating? I'm gonna have to find that in a little bit. Hey, at least it's soft. It's a little piece of foam. It's not the end of the world, I guess, right? Anyway, I think natural gas has some more room. So here's gold. I should have seen the very beginning. That was the draw we put on yesterday. We were sitting right here, right? We were sitting right here yesterday. 10 o'clock right there. So that's where we were sitting yesterday. It didn't follow my path exactly. It kind of came up, and then I said, watch the Europeans. The Europeans stepped in here, and the Europeans is what drove us down. Um, but it kind of did exactly what we thought. Again, on perceived dollar weakness. In reality, not necessarily dollar weakness. It's not like they're going to be like, you know what, we're not going to raise interest rates next time. They're absolutely still doing that. So, you know, it is moving back, and we are seeing a parabolic retracement move now. Um, Unfortunately, the parabolic retracement trade would have been initiated more up top in gold. It didn't quite get that far because that's quite a lot of movement, right? That would have been going from really 1802 all the way up to 18. I mean, that would have been a $30 jump in gold. That's kind of a lot. But right now, I see it kind of coming back down again, going towards that 1800. Like I said, they're still raising interest rates, and we're kind of going into a recession, so it's not necessarily the most favorable for inflation. But hopefully, you guys were able to take advantage of this on the draw. And again, it's always fun when you can draw it like that. And literally, actually, it's on 9 o'clock. I did this so we could see it. Yeah, so we literally tagged the bottom. So fun, fun, fun. Not surprised at all. Silver did the same thing, and we talked about coming down. And again, we talked about 2038 being a level. This one ended up again tagging at 7:30, 8 o'clock. It's kind of like they knew, right? And all it did was pull back, find sellers, and push lower. So, um, this one, if you wanted to run some fibs on it, you could say, well, wait a second, there was the low. You can see that the 23.6 didn't really hold much. It actually went right back to this basing level up here. And again, here's your base. There's your touch of it again. There was its kind of rally up at 9 o'clock, and now it's pushing back into the same trajectory. And Kip is going to start hitting all the buttons. Um, Again, I think this one comes down, finds the bottom. I think 20 is where the target is for the end of the week. We're sitting at 2042, so it's only, buddy, what are you doing? It's only got another 40 cents to go. But with the data that we saw today, I mean, manufacturing will kind of give us another highlight tomorrow. If that manufacturing number comes in lower, right? If this manufacturing number comes in at like a 52-ish, right? That also should be weak for silver tomorrow because, again, that means that, hey, listen, inflation is not going the way that they thought it was. It's starting to dissipate. You know, the economy is dissipating faster than what we thought, but we know that inflation numbers are still there. They're still rising. Again, point 0.3 is not point 0.4. but it's still a positive number going in the direction that the Fed doesn't want it to go into. So, ow, you cannot pull that. No, no, no. You cannot pull that. No, 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 no. It's this new thing. If you like scrunch your nose up and like, it's not like snorting, but he'll go. It's really funny. Here. All right. Hold on. I know it's been 35 seconds. You need something new. Here. Here. What's this? What's this? Um, so that's silver. So let's go over and look at the indices. Right now, the dollar, again, popped up for news, came right back out again and back to where it was before, hovering right around this 105.10 level. Um, Again, this is not really the driving factor right now. Like I said, it's the perceived weakness that the economy is more fragile than we thought it was, but yet everybody's in agreement we have to raise interest rates. So it has to be done. There's just no way not to do it. Um, Looking at ES, we'll kind of drop these down. And again, this is always a hard one for today because with news being at 8:30 today, here's the news. Here's the reaction to the news. Here would have been your last kind of tested level. And you can see that's where we came into at 9:15, 9:30. So as far as using opening trade setups today, yes, this was in a short pattern. It was in a short trade. Your 1 to 3 level is sitting right there. There's your 1 to 3. Whoops, 2.9. Right there. 1 to 3 exactly. So you can see it hasn't taken it out. It literally was probably the bid ask spread difference between the two. We have not seen a reversal yet. But again, with the data, obviously the market is weaker than what people thought it was going to be. Oh, by the way, I just found the foam mouthpiece. So he did not swallow it. Yay. Um, but again, there's one for one so far, and you're almost at your full profit target already, based off of your opening print setup. Um, Again, little bit delayed movement in this one, but again, it's a retail trader being able to react to the PCE data that we saw. Ow. All right, so I'm obviously not logged in because I have D's again. I'm gonna have to check on that. This is what happens when everything gets updated. Why is that not doing that? Am I paying nothing extra? I should be logged in. I don't know. This is what happens when everything gets reset. Stop, 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 stop. All right, I'm going to have to get to the bottom of that. But anyway, there would have been your 15-minute setting, right, at the 9:30 open today, watching the push. Yeah, I mean, it looks just like the ES does. Right? Stop, buddy. You can look to see where price was at 8:30 this morning. It did push above this zone. So in figuring out where the opening print was, there's your confirmation setup right here on your base. There's your 8:30. There's your drop kind of back again. There's your rally back up in time to get retail traders. All right, buddy. Yeah, that would be Kipster coughing. Yes, I know. You hate coughing. I know. I know. And again, all it did was it rallied right back up in time, went to the same level that we saw that news turn it around and pushed it to the downside, and that's what your 1 to 3 would look like. Buddy, I cannot. It's so hard to put the mouse in one area when you're jumping. Yes, but there's your 1 to 3, guys. So there's two different setups right at the open based off the 15-minute strategy. Um, There's YM. Okay. Now, YM, this would have been a little bit harder, right? We talked about a level at the 50%. It came through, it broke through it. It was the little Harry Potter trade here at the European Open for the day. And we already had this one set up in as far as kind of an overnight trade would be. 8:30, it kind of shot it down and pulled back up again. I would say on this one, I mean, here's kind of where the base is. There's your kind of touch off of it. If you use a little bit more recent of a high to here, you still didn't get into the trade. So this one, although it went down, again, we had that Harry Potter trade. I'll go backwards so you can see it. Right there. Okay. So again, there's your base. There's the pull through. There's the 50 we were looking for it to break. There would have been your Harry Potter entry. Buddy, come on. We got 9 more minutes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Here. Have this. Have this. That is almost done. Have this. There we go. There we go. Good job. All right. That's why I am talking about the Russell. Russell had a very, very similar setup. We talked about a level of 1705 yesterday. It did take the pop off of it. And again, gave us that same kind of Harry Potter, right? Here or here, either one would have worked. If you're taking a more close proximity, again, there would have been your basing level. Okay, it was pulling back up again. It was an old level. As you can see, 745, 8, 815. It went up for the 830 release. It pulled back again. And then what did it do? It rallied back up in time just for the open. Why? Because everybody was like, "Oh my God, this is horrible," right? As it continued to rally, and then boom, you were able to get short the same position. So it's the same repeating pattern 3 times in a row. They're all exactly the same. I believe that this one is out as well. There's your 1 to 3 right there. There's your 1 to 3. Um, oh, so let's see. You had one here, two here. YM probably didn't get an entry if you weren't in a little bit early, and then Russell obviously is being the third. So weird. Why do I have? I don't know. I gotta look at this thing. It's like, hey, listen, you're on pro right now. It's like, okay. I don't know. Anyway, so that's what we're seeing. So 3 out of 4. All three I think are at full profit target. Nope, that one hasn't. Actually, this is the only one that hasn't hit. Right? ES has literally gone down right to the very very brink and not closed it out. NQ obviously well beyond. YM probably didn't get the entry, and then obviously Russell, you're well past it. So, some decent setups today. I would say big things that I would look for is again going into tomorrow. Again, ISM manufacturing, it is kind of one of the big ones. Services has been more the leader right now, but manufacturing gives us kind of an idea of what's happening ahead, what's happening next. Again, remember, 50 is a magic number in this one. 54.6, it is expected to be lower than the 56, so we are getting really, really close to that one. Um, it's right there. It's super close. So again, I mean, God forbid this comes in under 50, I think that'd be pretty negative for the day. Um, Again, showing us that we are having that contraction. We everybody knows we have the contraction, but we're not seeing it in official manufacturing numbers yet. But it's getting really, really close. So again, if this one is able to hold firm, maybe it comes in at a 155 or something. I think that would be a good kind of a boom for the market, showing that the market has been more resilient. But unfortunately, I think that again, being on the downside, the closer and closer we get to that 50, the worse it's going to be for the overall indices. So what I would do is again look for some bottoming to take place in all the indices, right? All these should be bottomed a bit. Again, I think everything at this point will probably find somewhat of a bottom, and then look for a retracement. With oil pushing down the way that it has at this point, again, it looks like we actually just touched. Looks like we just missed it by 6 cents, 6 cents on oil, and that original profit target is out. Um, you know, like I said, I think oil finds a bottom. I'd look for gold to continue its retracement all the way back down again. Silver, I think silver comes back down and it really starts to test 20 in the next day or two. And again, with the dollar should find some buyers in this area. I think we have a retracement in a lot of these currency pairs. So a lot going on there. Yeah, it's so weird. Strange, strange, strange. No idea what's on that. All right. So with that said, let's see if I can pull this tab across. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and do this. So, whoops, it's very, very small. Uh, there we go. So, I believe, I guess it was Neuro yesterday. So Neuro will be going for 100. Everybody else will be going for 25 today. Who are we missing? Sean's not here today. Yeah, Sean's like primetime Michigan weather. Like this is like the 2 months where Michigan is awesome. Best time of the year. Will's in, Ernest is in. Great. Well, what's the temperature down there? I know Ernest is basically in temperature hell right now. What's the weather down like where it is where you are? I haven't seen any weather reports from your area. But I know it's hotter than Hades where Ernest is. Listen to James talk about how hot the weather. It's too hot. All right, so it's everywhere. It's not just Ernest. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering how bad it was down there. Supposed to be 50 pip chips for the rest of the week. No, it is 50 chips right here. It is. That's why I said Neuro won yesterday, so Neuro's going for double, so he's going for 100, and everybody else is going for 50. Yeah. High 90s last week. Ugh. We just had the humidity, so yeah. But yes, there it is, Ernest. Or Ernest, did you think that just you were automatically getting 50 pip chips for showing up each day? Is that what you thought? That's not how it works. Heat index of 118? No, thank you. I don't need that. That's too hot for me. Not interested. So, all right. With that said, I've had technical difficulties today. I've had stream keys messed up. I had 5 minutes of where I was trying to figure out if Kip had eaten the phone microphone piece, which he didn't. I did find it. It is sitting right over here. Um, and now look at Neuro's going in big. He's like, I said I'm dropping 50 chips on this bad boy. I'm going to take it today. We'll see if anybody stops him. So, winner of today's drawing is Neuro. Yeah, Neuro had a 50% chance of winning. Look at that. See, Neuro is smart. Neuro like counts it up. It's like, all right, I can spend 4, but then it gives me a 50% chance there, and I got this much from before, and this rides. It's like that beautiful mind thing there. So let's give Neuro his 100. Let's see. I'm telling you, he's got to figure it out, man. You guys are going to Vegas. You need to make sure that you bring Neuro because Neuro has got it worked out, man. He is like Rain Man counting chips. So twisting my fate to my will. I love it. Yep, it's basically what it is, Neuro. I get it. So all right. With that said, like I said, a lot of the trade setups we talked about yesterday went. Again, PCE, mentioned it being a very, very big number, and it was. It kind of played out how we expected it to. Again, look for that kind of reversal to come through. We'll probably see it again. It's not like the Fed is going to suddenly be like, you know what, we're not raising interest rates anymore. They're going to raise interest rates. It's still coming back in, so we'll see a reversal. So, with that said, I'm done for today. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, we don't have the technical difficulties tomorrow. And I'll catch you guys then. See ya.